These are just some of the tools I used. Basic LEDs. You can buy these LEDs and the resistors all in one pack from Maplin or elsewhere on eBay. Creative set there, you get all the resistors, etc. And there's many different types of LEDs you can get, like a square one, round. I used to use a round one and bent the pins at an angle so it goes in. There's different ways to fit. You can drill in the firebox, or I fitted mine surface mounting it, which meant I bent the prongs at an angle. I didn't drill the firebox, I placed it over the top, disguised the wires, and drilled a hole in the cab floor, and of course use a small resistor appropriate for the LED. The resistor usually goes on the longest prong, because you get a short prong and a long one. Usually I usually solder the resistor to a long prong, the longish one. That's what I do anyway. Might be different, I'm no expert. And then use heat shrink to protect all exposed areas. And of course I use a drill for drilling out a cab, and this is a brilliant drill. I've used it, it's fantastic. A cutter just for general cutting cables and stuff. Cable stripper, wire stripper, helping hand there, some tape for holding wires in place, but I've also used copy decks as well to fix the light in position. I didn't use any of that, I used copy decks instead. And soldering, lead free silver soldering dispenser, that's what I use. No lead in it, it does me, it works, it does what I want. Well, the cable I use is really fine decoder wire, and the idea with this is it's really flexible. You can bend it round corners, get it through tight holes and spaces. It's fantastic for doing lighting, etc. You can buy that in a pack of all the different colours, all in one pack for about a metre length for a couple of quid. Well worth it. Get some of that. Oh, and of course, yeah, soldering iron. That's the soldering iron I use. It's just from Maplin. Nothing too special, but it's got an external power supply. Heats up pretty quick. And you can use other types of soldering irons, but you can set the temperature on this one dead easy. Really good. It's lasted ages. Yeah, so you got to download the ESU DCC decoder instructions, whichever one you're going to do. Mine's a Locksound 4 or a Locksound 4 Micro. You just go to page 15 on the instructions, and it gives you a diagram like this. So basically the blue wire is the common wire which supplies the instructions for each auxiliary light and what to do, and that goes to front headlamp, rear headlamp, auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2. So basically what you do, you cut this wire here and take a blue wire to your auxiliary 2, which I did, and then you obviously patch it up with the rest. You just join into this, so you're still feeding the front and rear lights. So you patch into that wire there, so you cut it and rejoin the cables so everything else works, and then the blue wire goes to auxiliary 2 or auxiliary 1, whichever one you picked, and the violet goes to auxiliary 2, and the green wire goes to auxiliary 1, and that's how you wire it up. Really easy. You just need a soldering iron and a bit of cable protection tape or shrink cable, heat shrink cable, and that's it basically. Yeah, so I'm installing a firebox light. So there's the light, LED, with a resistor on it, on the violet wire. The violet wire goes straight back to the violet wire, spare wire coming out the decoder interface. There, and the other one I'm just going to feed into the common earth blue on this wiring cable. I'm just going to snip that and join onto that to supply the auxiliary number 2 light, which will be a flickering firebox light, a smart one. which has got a really smart flicker. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to drill a hole now through the firebox, through the cab floor using this drill. Bring the wire out through into the decoder. Yeah, so when you've connected up your light, whether it be a normal bulb or an LED, whether it'll be a Locksound 3 decoder or a Locksound 4, launch the appropriate Locksound decoder programmer software. Well, mine's a Locksound 4, so I'm launching Locksound 4. Modify the settings of an ESU decoder, so it's reading all the data on a locomotive. There we go, it's all done. Then what you want to do to get it working is go to decoder, function outputs. Sorry about the phone. Got function outputs, and then you go to output. So mine's on auxiliary 2 slot 1. Auxiliary 2 slot 1, press that. Then you go output mode, and you got all these different outputs, different effects for lighting, etc. Loads of different things, smoke generators, etc. So you either pick firebox or smart firebox. Firebox is just a standard glow, smart box is a random glow and flickers. So in my case, it's press smart firebox. Brightness, you can have the brightness setting up and down wherever you want it. LED, if you've got an LED fitted. If you haven't got an LED fitted, untick it. And that's it. That's set up. Then you want to go to function mapping. So you've got to pick a slot on the function key where you want it to go. So I'm going to, well, I've already put it in there actually. F7, so you pick F7, physical outputs, and that'll be auxiliary. I've just clicked both auxiliary 1 and 2. Even though I've only got one light, I'll just pick both, because you can have 2 lights on each auxiliary output. So tick them, close it down. Logical functions, well, you can have that working with another item if you want. I'm just leaving that blank for now. And you can have it working with another sound as well on that function. You could have it working with the sound of the shoveling, coal shoveling, but I've got that on another function anyway, so I'm leaving that blank. And that's it. What you do then is you go to write data to decoder, press that, updating decoder config. That's it, it's written all the data, necessary data to the chip. And of course when it's done, you go to driver's cab, load up the cab with 28 functions, punch in the address, press go, and if I press F7, you can see the flickering effect. And that's how you do it on the ESU lock programmer software. Pretty straightforward, a lot easier than doing it any other way with standard CVs, etc. And of course on this software you can upload sounds and change many thousands of settings on the decoder to work all sorts of different things. Yeah, so on the ECOS, put it in a programming track. Once you've entered the locomotive, etc., you go to spanner menu, edit loco, go to advanced, start, and it'll scan all the functions on the chip now, and you should be able to adjust it on the ECOS then. Yeah, it can take a while to scan all the settings on the V4. So yeah, that bar takes a while to go across. So when the decoder's red and it says decoder read success, you press the sound and auxiliary button there, and then you want to go to outputs. Then you can see light forward, click that. You can see auxiliary 1, 2, etc. Mine is auxiliary 2. Sorry, auxiliary 2 slot 1. Click that. Then you can adjust delay turn on, delay turn off, etc. Then go to page 2. There, click page 2. Then you get the options of selecting the type of function that light is to do. You can see all the functions there, all the different settings for it. Strobe light, double strobe, rotary beacon, firebox. Well, obviously firebox is what we want. Either select firebox or smart firebox. Click smart firebox. And then you can select the brightness of the firebox, and that adjusts the glow, etc. So you can have a dim light. If you untick that, you can have it brighter and adjust the settings, etc. Play around with it to get whatever effect you want. And then when you've done that, make sure it's the program track button is selected. Tick the live button if you're running it on your main tracks, if you've not got it on programming tracks, but I tick that anyway, live button. Transmit data to the chip, press the arrow pointing to the track. You can hear it click. Sends the data to the locomotive on the programming track or on the layout, depending on. Yeah, so once it's the data sent, and that's it. You press the tick button and it's all done. The firebox will be set up on function 7. I shall press function 7 and you can see it glowing. And that's how easy it is. You can do it very easily. You don't need a lot ESV programmer, although it is a lot easier to do certain things on the programmer, but this is pretty easy enough to do on the ECOS. In fact, for beginners it's probably easier doing it on the ECOS because there's less things to select. Yeah, also if you want to add a function to a sound to a particular function, just go spanner, edit loco, again, advanced, and then you go to sound and auxiliary button there, and you can see function mapping, and you just add what outputs you want to be assigned to whatever function key on the loco. So you've got 1 to 28, and you say you pick number 4, you just click the plus box and it opens up there for function mapping for whatever function button you want that particular sound to go to. And then when you've done, you just press a tick bar, sorry, you don't press a tick bar, you press write data to the chip first, and it should click, it should make a clicking sound, and it'll write a data for a couple of seconds, and then when you're all done, you press a tick bar. Of course, if you're putting a loco on the track for the first time, which is Lockdown V4, and you've got an ECOS, make sure you've got that enable automatic RailCom detection tick enabled. Because if you do that, it'll automatically detect addresses from 1000 onwards or whatever. Well, I'm going to change that to from 3. onwards. When you press the click tick bar, you can see that bar there moving. It's looking for the loco I've just put on the track. Yeah, so it's looking for a loco, and you'll get a symbol like that, RailCom. So if you put in a lock sound, or a lock, doesn't have to be lock sound, any decoder which is V4 on the track, it'll all automatically assign the address, the name, all the settings automatically onto the eco. So you tick that box there. There you go, bingo. Everything I programmed on the lock sound, on the lock programmer, is automatically uploaded onto the ECOS. All the picture symbols I've done, the missing functions where I didn't want anything on there. There we go. It's playing the heavy metal version of Harry Potter. Take that off. So yeah, I've only got to change the sound file which was uploaded. It automatically loads the correct locomotive in there. That's the only thing I've got to change, because that is not the proper locomotive.